No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men is a crime drama thriller about the violence and mayhem that ensues after a hunter stumbles upon a drug deal gone wrong and more than $2 million in cash is left for the taking near Rio Grande. No Country for Old Men is screenplayed and directed by Ethan and Joel Coen, the Coen brothers, starring Tommy Lee Jones as Ed Tom Bell, Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, and Josh Brolin as Llewellyn Moss. And if you haven't yet already subscribed, please make sure you do with your bell notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my future posts for the near future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you guys a quick little bit of trivia as to how I stumbled across No Country for Old Men, because this movie has existed since 2007 and for whatever reason I've just never come to the point of watching it. Now, on Facebook I follow a filmmaking page called No Film School, and every now and then the page kind of adheres to Roger Deakins cinematography and this and that. And based on the conversations that page brings up, I saw a lot of talk about No Country for Old Men. And I noticed that it was being repeated and I thought, you know what? Let me check out for myself. It's time, because I've seen way too many people now recommend this movie. And I can say this, No Country for Old Men is a masterpiece. And this is quite possibly the scariest movie that I've ever seen that's not even a friggin' horror. This is leaps and bounds of what I expected from this movie. It gave me everything I wanted and more. And the first character that I need to talk about within this review is Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem. Ladies and gentlemen, when you feel the breeze of goosebumps on your arms and there is no draft near a window, there's no air coming in from a window you thought you left open but there's nothing there, the paranoia when you feel eyes on the back of your head and you look behind you, nobody's there, the creak of a floorboard that you hear at 4 o'clock in the morning only to walk outside your door and nobody's there. This man is the walking epitome of paranoia and dread. Oh my God. Javier Bardem, from what I understand, did he win an Oscar for this? I think he did. This dude, unbelievable. The performance he gave in this, everything from method to Meisner, every acting ability that you could think of, he brings to the table, and he brings it in fucking aces. This guy, woo! That is what you call a performance. And what I'm always looking for within a movie is obviously, I've always said this within my reviews, I'm always looking for the first person ideology. I'm always looking for what was the event that turned this person into the personality they are today. But as I come to watch more movies, I come to realize that's not necessarily the case all the time, because I think there's such a great thing about writing third person, but there is this air of ambiguity and ominous that comes with the character that makes you think, what did he really go on? What did he really go through, And it leaves to your imagination as to what circumstances was he placed under? Was it nurture? Was it nature? And that almost makes his character even more of a freak of nature, And, you don't really need to explain much if your actor's giving a great performance and the only thing that this character admires in his whole life is a fucking coin. I mean, that's it. I don't want to know what treacherous things he had to go through, because for a man to get to a point in his life and the only thing is a coin, yeah, there's something up with that, and there's something sinister and disturbing about that. And that Anton Chigurh is, well, he is a psychopath. And what's so prevalent about seeing a psychopath being played on screen is that these people, they don't care. What makes a psychopath so scary is that they don't care for the future, and they don't care about the past. They only genuinely think about what is happening in that moment, and nothing else matters. That's what makes them so frightening in my eyes. And I just have to give so much props to Javier Bardem. He just absolutely knocks out the park. Which then leads me now to talk about Josh Brolin and his journey that he takes with this movie. And this is essentially a story about anti-heroes, and the only reason why I feel like the audience gravitate towards Llewyn is that the movie very cleverly establishes that he has a relationship with his partner, with his wife, and with some very uncanny dialogue and quippiness about him, and that's what makes us gravitate towards him. But at the same time, he is somebody that does something that he should have never done in the first place, and it's almost, what is the difference between somebody that admires a person and what is the difference between someone that admires nothing? When really, in reality, there is no right or wrong between Llewyn and Chigurh. Chigurh is obviously the main protagonist, and I'm not saying there is no reasoning to anything he does throughout the entire movie, but do you know what I mean? It plays with that, two rights don't make a wrong, and which, sorry, a bit parched there, but we also had Roger Deakins on this project doing the cinematography, and as always, his work is always immaculate throughout. And there was this one shot of, I don't know how he captured it, but he captured the silhouette of this humongous cloud in the beginning of the movie that was kind of overlooking a flock of animals. And I'm thinking, how did he do that? And I looked extensively into behind the scenes, and he, they talk about how he waited for hours for a cloud to move in one specific area to get this one shot, and it really paid off into the movie, and it almost plays into the themes of No Country for Old Men. It plays into the sense of inevitability and the themes. And another point is that I think that this movie, and I kid you not when I say this, had some of the best non-linear structure that I've ever seen throughout any movie. And it's combined with immaculate suspense like you've never witnessed before if you've never watched the movie. And if you have watched the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Non-linear structure with suspense that really gets inside your head. Like, it gets in your head to the point where I just still think about these scenes. And I've already watched, I watched the film, twice, and that was a 2 weeks ago. Just the structure of the non-linear combined with suspense. Oh man, it was squeaky bum time, man. I was on the edge of my seat, and it's the best I've seen throughout any movie. And as I go throughout my journey of reviewing movies, I will come across similar moments like this. But this this one's the most prominent one that stands out in my mind. And it's amazing. The way the Coen brothers captured that, man, props to them. Which now leads me to another thing that's very prominent in the movie, is the movie's hidden subtext exposition. And again, some of the best I've ever seen in a movie. And it's done with the subtle nature of shoes. And the way they tied up that specific nature of the character with the third act, I knew that I was watching a masterpiece. And I can't help but think that I might be completely wrong when I mention this, but I feel like The Dark Knight, I feel like Christopher Nolan took some pointers and took a page out of the book of No Country for Old Men, because specifically the third act, when Chigurh comes out of that house, it's so reminiscent of when Heath Ledger blows up the hospital in The Dark Knight. The one shots, the movement, and even the ideology as to what does Chigurh think, how he sees the coin as fate for other people, which you can juxtaposition and connect to Harvey Dent's character when he flips the coin, and he you know, it's based on fate, whether or not it's heads or tails, whether or not a person lives or dies. So some huge differences and similarities between No Country for Old Men and The Dark Knight. And this movie gets a 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Watch it, and I guarantee you will have an experience with it. The ending, I will admit, the ending is pulverizing. It's that kind of ending where you sit back and you think, did that really just happen? But what will happen is you'll keep thinking about the movie, and it will really sit with you, and it will really resonate with you a lot. So 10 out of 10, absolutely phenomenal movie. I can't believe that these are the same directors of The Big Lebowski. They created one of the best crime thrillers of all time, and they created one of the best comedies of all time. I just love their range and their work. And thank you, the Coen brothers, for creating this masterpiece. And I want to let you guys know, in the near future, I will be doing a very in-depth video essay about No Country for Old Men. It's hidden exposition, it's non-linear structure that combines suspense. I'm gonna go through all of it, because I don't think people understand how amazing this movie truly is. So guys, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed my review, leave a like, comment down below. I'm always in my comment sections all the time. I see all your messages. So leave a comment, that'll be nice. And subscribe, and that's always good. We're trying to reach 600 subscribers. Let's make it happen. Thank you for watching. Click here if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next video.